Sometimes the truth isn't hidden, it's just waiting for the right moment to strike. And that moment? It's now. You might think life has been a little off lately. Plans stalling, emotions spiraling, people from the past creeping back in. But what if I told you that wasn't a coincidence? What if the universe was about to pull back the curtain on something you were never supposed to see? Because this month, 2 retrogrades are colliding at the same time, and when that happens, reality starts twisting. 1 retrograde is enough to shake things up, but 2, that's a cosmic earthquake. Venus started rewinding on March 1st, and now Mercury is about to slam into reverse on the 15th. That's not just bad luck. It's the universe pressing pause, rewind, and play all at once. And if you're not careful, you could end up stuck in a cycle you don't even realize you're repeating. If you're feeling this shift more than usual, you're not imagining it. Some people are about to get hit harder than anyone else, because when the planets pull back, they don't just stir up chaos, they expose things, secrets, lies, even parts of yourself you've been avoiding. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Before we go any deeper, take a second to like this video and subscribe. When you do, you're telling YouTube that more people need to hear this message before it's too late. Because what's coming next? It's not just another retrograde, it's a warning. And if you don't know what to look for, you might miss the biggest red flag of your life. Number 1. When the universe rewinds, it doesn't play fair, it rewrites the rules. The past is never where you left it. Most people think retrogrades are just cosmic hiccups, missed calls, delayed flights, exes knocking on your door like unwelcome ghosts. But that's child's play compared to what's actually happening. This double retrograde isn't just making life inconvenient. It's rewriting reality itself. Think about it. What happens when you rewrite a story? Characters change, the plot shifts. The ending is no longer what you thought it would be. That's exactly what's happening now. Venus has already started twisting how we see love, self-worth, and desire. It's reshaping the way we connect with others and even how we see ourselves. But now, Mercury is about to jump in, and that's where the real chaos begins. Mercury isn't just about miscommunication and tech glitches. It's the ruler of perception, logic, and thought itself. When it retrogrades, it doesn't just cause misunderstandings, it distorts reality. The truth you thought you knew? It suddenly looks different. Words that seemed harmless before, now they carry a sting. People you trusted, now they seem like strangers. This isn't just a cosmic prank, it's a test. And here's where it gets even more unsettling. March 15th isn't just the day Mercury retrograde begins. It's a date etched in history for betrayal, deception, and sudden reversals. There's a reason why people still whisper about the Ides of March. But this time, the betrayal isn't coming from a knife in the back. It's happening right in your inbox, your conversations, your own mind. And if you're not paying attention, you'll never see it coming. Number 2. March 15th. A day stained by betrayal, now written in the stars. The cruelest lies are often told in silence. March 15th isn't just another day, it's a warning carved into history. The Ides of March was the day Julius Caesar was stabbed by those he trusted most. A lesson in betrayal, written in blood. Centuries later, the universe is whispering that same ominous message. But this time, the knives aren't in your back. They're in your inbox, your relationships, and your own mind. Mercury retrograde begins exactly on this cursed date. That's not just coincidence, that's a cosmic echo. Expect miscommunication on a level you've never experienced. Messages twisted, words taken out of context, trust unraveling over something that was never even said. A simple text will explode into an argument. A casual comment will be taken as an attack. A deal that felt solid will crumble over one misunderstood sentence. Paranoia will hang in the air like a storm cloud. And the most dangerous part, the betrayal won't always come from others. It might be your own mind playing tricks on you, making you see problems where there are none, making you doubt things that were once certain. And when the dust settles, the question won't be who betrayed you, but what you let yourself believe. Number 3. How to turn chaos into power. The secret no one talks about. A wise man sees more from the bottom of a well than a fool does from a mountaintop. Most people will stumble through this retrograde like blindfolded players in a rigged game. They'll react, lash out, assume the worst. But what if I told you that this storm isn't meant to break you? It's meant to wake you up? Because here's the secret no one talks about. The same energy that creates confusion also sharpens intuition. Think of it like walking into a pitch-black room. The moment your sight is taken away, your hearing, your sense of touch, everything else becomes sharper. That's what's happening now. While others get lost in arguments, misunderstandings, and paranoia, you can start seeing what's really going on beneath the surface. But only if you stop reacting. Instead of jumping to conclusions, pause, listen, watch. The universe is sending you signals, but they won't scream, they'll whisper. The conversation that feels off. The gut feeling telling you to wait before signing that contract. The dream that lingers a little too vividly in your mind. These aren't accidents, they're messages. Most people will miss them. They'll fall into the same traps, repeating the same patterns. But you don't have to. You can be 10 steps ahead. Because while they're busy drowning in the storm, you'll be the one learning how to swim. Number 4. When emotions aren't your own, the hidden price of this retrograde. Some feelings belong to you, others are just passing through. What if I told you the emotions you're feeling right now, the stress, the anxiety, the sudden waves of sadness or excitement, might not even be yours? Because this retrograde isn't just messing with words and thoughts. It's cracking something much deeper, your emotional boundaries. You've felt it before. You walk into a room, and before anyone speaks, you just know. The tension, the joy, the unspoken sadness sitting in the air like invisible smoke. But now, it's like the volume has been cranked up to 100. Over the next few weeks, you'll start feeling things that don't belong to you. A random sense of dread out of nowhere, only to find out later that your friend was going through a crisis at that exact moment. A sudden rush of excitement that has nothing to do with your life, but everything to do with someone standing next to you. It's not in your head. It's real. Your emotional walls are dissolving. Instead of being just you, you're becoming an antenna, picking up the signals, the static, the frequencies of every person around you. And let me tell you, it's going to be exhausting. Empaths will feel this the hardest. You might find yourself laughing harder than usual, crying unexpectedly, or feeling drained after a simple conversation. Social interactions will feel heavier, even if nothing dramatic happens. Because now, you're not just hearing words, you're feeling the truth behind them. But here's what no one tells you. This is also a power. If you recognize what's happening, if you learn to separate what's yours from what's not, you can turn this into an advantage. You'll be able to read people with an eerie level of accuracy. You'll know what's really going on beneath their surface, even when they say nothing at all. Most people lie. Their energy doesn't. This is a crash course in universal empathy, a test of whether you can handle feeling beyond yourself. But be warned, if you don't set boundaries, this energy will drain you fast. Because when you start feeling everything, you need to remember one thing: not every emotion deserves a home in your heart. Number 5. When the veil thins, something else steps through, and it's not human. Not everything that watches you is meant to be seen. If you think this retrograde is only about emotions and confusion, think again, because something else is moving in the shadows, and it's not human. Some will hear whispers when no one is there. Some will see flickers of movement just at the edge of their sight. Some won't see or hear anything, but they'll feel it. That unshakable sense of being watched. The sudden chill in the air, the way a room feels just a little too full when you know you're alone. Maybe you've already noticed it. A whisper that disappears the second you turn your head. A shadow that shifts even though nothing's there. A sensation that makes your skin prickle like static, telling you that something is just beyond what your eyes can perceive. At first, you might dismiss it. Just my imagination. But the more you ignore it, the stronger it gets. Because here's the thing, this isn't just paranoia. The barrier between worlds is thinner now than usual. Retrogrades don't just rewind time, they distort energy. And when the frequencies shift, things bleed through. Not all of them are bad. Some are just passing through, drawn to the energy changes, like echoes caught in the wind. Some might even be trying to communicate, leaving hints, nudging you toward realizations you wouldn't have reached on your own. But some are different. If you suddenly feel drained, if the air in the room turns heavy, if a deep gut-level unease creeps up your spine, that's when you need to be careful. Because the more you acknowledge these energies, the more they notice you back. And once they do, they don't always leave. Number 6. Reality is glitching, and your senses are caught in the crossfire. What happens when the world no longer fits into the boxes you built for it? The strangest part of this retrograde isn't just what you see, or hear, or feel. It's how those things start to bleed into each other. Your senses are supposed to have rules. Sight belongs to your eyes, sound to your ears, taste to your tongue. But something is breaking those rules now. You might hear a song and see colors exploding behind your eyes, as if music is painting in your mind. You might remember a moment so vividly that it doesn't just exist in your thoughts. It has a taste. The past isn't just a memory. It's a flavor on your tongue, a scent in the air, a texture pressing against your skin. And emotions. They're no longer just feelings. They press against you, heat up, vibrate like static in your bones. This isn't just imagination. This isn't some random brain trick. It's called synesthesia, when senses crosswire, blending into each other in ways they're not supposed to. Normally, people are born with it. But now, people who've never experienced it before are suddenly feeling it. So what's happening? Are the planets distorting our perception, or is something deeper waking up inside of us? Maybe the universe isn't just rewinding events, it's rewiring you. Number 7. The past is calling because you left something unfinished. You can ignore the past, but the past won't ignore you. Most people think retrogrades are just temporary chaos. A few tech glitches, a misunderstanding here and there, then life goes back to normal. But that's not how this works, not even close. Retrogrades don't just hit and leave. They creep in before they officially begin and linger long after they're gone. Right now, you're not just living in the present. You're walking through echoes of the past. Because the universe, it doesn't let unfinished business slide. And if something is resurfacing, it's because you missed something. Maybe it's a relationship you walked away from too soon. Maybe it's a dream you abandoned because you were scared. Maybe it's a choice you made that still haunts you, that little voice whispering, "What if?" This isn't punishment. This isn't the universe trying to trap you in old mistakes. This is a second chance, a rare, almost eerie opportunity to step back into a moment you thought was lost forever and choose differently. The question is, will you repeat the same patterns? Or this time, will you finally break free? Number 8. The universe is testing you, and this time, there's nowhere to hide. Life will keep repeating the same lesson until you learn it. Right now, you might feel like you're stuck in a loop, like the same problems, the same emotions, and the same people keep showing up in your life, no matter how much you try to move on. That's not bad luck. That's not coincidence. That's a test. This retrograde isn't just a random mess of delays and miscommunication. It's the universe watching you, seeing how you react, pushing the same patterns back in front of you, waiting to see if you'll finally make a different choice. Think about it. That toxic ex who suddenly reappeared, that old insecurity creeping back in, that job opportunity that looks eerily similar to one you turned down before. This is not just the past repeating itself. It's a mirror. The universe is asking, have you grown? Or will you make the same mistake again? And here's the part most people don't realize. If you ignore the lesson, it will repeat. If you pretend not to see the signs, the universe will turn up the volume. The same situations will hit you harder, the stakes will get higher, and eventually you'll have no choice but to face what you've been running from. But if you pay attention, if you recognize the pattern and choose differently this time, everything shifts. That's how you break the cycle. That's how you finally get unstuck. Most people will miss this. They'll blame the retrograde, blame bad luck, blame everyone except the one person who has the power to change things, themselves. But you have a choice. Will you keep repeating the same old mistakes? Or will you prove to the universe that you're finally ready for something bigger? Number 9. Not everyone will make it through this retrograde the same. Some people will feel the storm, others will become it. For some, this retrograde will be nothing more than an inconvenience. Flights delayed, texts disappearing, awkward run-ins with people they swore they'd never see again. They'll roll their eyes, complain about bad luck, and wait for it to pass. But for others, this isn't just a phase, it's a collision course with transformation. If your birth chart is aligned in a certain way, especially if you have strong Taurus, Libra, Gemini or Virgo placements, you're not just going through this retrograde. You're being reshaped by it. The universe is turning your world upside down, not to punish you, but to force you to evolve. The parts of your life that no longer serve you, they're being stripped away. The lies you've told yourself, exposed. The identity you've been clinging to, cracking under pressure. This is not destruction, it's reconstruction. But here's the thing, transformation isn't easy. Some people will resist. They'll fight against the changes, try to hold on to what's crumbling, refuse to see what's right in front of them. And for them, this retrograde will feel like hell. Because the harder you resist, the harder the universe pushes. Others, though, they'll let go. They'll surrender to the lessons, face their shadows, and come out on the other side unrecognizable. Not everyone will make it through this retrograde the same. Some will break, and some will break free. The question is, which one will you be? If this message hit home, don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. The universe is speaking. Make sure the right people are listening.